Hi everyone, we are going to have a go at this Matchstick Mouse picture. I'm not sure how much we're going to get done in this video because we're going to be spending a little bit longer than normal just on the gingerbread man. This is Matchstick Mouse Christmas colouring book, and what I've decided to do is for the gingerbread man here, I've decided to use the guidance from Zimmermann's book. This is The Secrets of Colouring 2, and she has a gingerbread man tutorial in here, and I thought I would go through it with you on the video, and then you can see what her tutorials are like and think about if it's something you want. She's got a lot. I have done a flip through of the book quite a while ago, so you can have a look at what all the tutorials are, so I won't go into that now. There's a lot of Christmassy ones which are good fun. So we're going to start now. Her first instruction for the gingerbread man, the main body of the gingerbread man, is to use a Copic marker to colour a background. I'm just trying to find myself some paper from another book to put behind. Now I don't have the Copic markers, it's the sepia one, or she says the Artex terracotta will do instead. I don't have any of those, so what I've decided to do is to try something, to risk it, and to just try. The only pens I have are these. Now these are water-based markers, so they go down in a completely different way, but I thought I would use it. I'm going to use this one rather than the really dark one. I think for me that looks better. If you look at her picture of her gingerbread man there, he does start off fairly dark, but I don't think as dark as that one. So I'm going to go over him in this. This is a Staedtler triplus pen. Has no visible number or anything on it. So I'm just going to get colouring. I've put paper behind. This is going to go through the page because these are thin pages. But I'm not going to worry about that because I've got some paper behind to protect oh, I am rattling on a pencil. Oh, there we go. I've got some paper behind to protect the page behind, and it's a single-sided book. I wouldn't have the confidence to do this in a double-sided book. Now my pen is running out slightly, so it's a bit patchy, and water-based markers always are, but I'm just going to give it a go anyway. I have had advice from lots of people saying, you know, if you do a marker base, it makes it much easier to have a nice vibrant colour in your picture. Now, that's all well and good, but water-based markers don't. Look how patchy it is. If you've ever used them, you would know too. So that is a problem, but I think we might be able to get around that, so I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to see how it works. I have tried this before, and I got it working. Not for this particular picture, for something else. From her book, actually, I did there's a chocolate bunny, and I didn't do I think I may have done the chocolate bunny, because she's got, with the book, there are colouring pages in the book, so you can try out the techniques on a picture she's drawn, which looks identical to the one that she's giving you the tutorial for, which is useful. But also, I think you can print them. Yeah, there's links to the download, so you can print them off yourself, which I did. I'm pretty sure that's a bit of gingerbread man and not window, because I didn't want to colour in the book. The paper is Amazon printed paper, so I think I may have printed it on coloured paper, but I can't remember now. Not coloured, but you know, slightly dark. Toned is probably the word I'm looking for, so I could get whites on there. But this tutorial is Prismacolor, so I do have my Prismacolors out. Oh, I can hear a lot of banging. So we're going to be using the Prismas. I am getting used to them. I'm realising that the biggest drawback with my Prismas is that there are so many of them, I can't fit them on my desk very well. so I have to try and find a way to pile them up. Now I like them spread out in their trays, because I like to be able to see exactly what I've got and be able to see the numbers and things, and I don't like the elastics of a slipcase getting them in and out. It's, I don't know, it's just a bit cumbersome. So so it's just trying to find space. Even here, in here where I'm recording, I have a lot of space on this desk, and even here I've had to put a couple of the trays on top of each other. I put the sort of blue ones underneath because I'm assuming I'm not going to need those for this page, but we'll see. Now if you're using an alcohol marker, you'll find that your colouring is a lot neater. They go down. I tried this out because I was really curious. I was like, why do people like them? What is the difference? And so I coloured something with them, and I had a few Sharpies, and we didn't get this lininess that you get with these markers, this overlapping and lines and mess. Didn't get that at all. So that was really nice. But the smell, my goodness, the smell. I had a headache from the smell. I don't know if they all smell like that though, whether it was just the Sharpies. And these were old Sharpies that have been used for flip charts and things, you know, a long time ago. So they're a bit different. Now for me, this gingerbread man is too dark, but if you have a look at the instructions, which I did show you earlier, he gets lighter. So it's quite interesting. Now her second instruction is to put shadows in with a second layer of the pen. I'm going to try that, although my pen isn't very even. So under all of the icing parts, or where the decorations are going to be, like here, and in a few areas, so around the edge of the head, she's got an extra bit, so I shall do that first, so I remember. I've gone out the lines with a pen. Oops, never mind. And oh, around the arms and legs as well. We've got a bit of a marking here actually, maybe where these markings are. It's actually a snow day today. We had loads of snow yesterday. I've never seen so much snow since I moved here, and I've lived here for 21 years. It was like manic, madness. But it was Sunday yesterday, so that it didn't really impact too many people. And then I'm going to go under the eyes. So that was okay, but all the schools are shut today, and my husband can't go to work because I'm trying to work out where they are. They're under on this bit because the car park is dangerous. But of course the children say there's no such thing as a snow day anymore because you can do online learning. So they're only due one lesson. It's their study afternoon anyway. So they've got a 9 o'clock lesson online, which first time they've ever done online lessons with college. So that's going to be a bit of a novelty for them. They're wondering whether everyone will bother to get up. But right, so I've done that. And now the second stage is to use the sienna brown pencil, which is this one, and to create small dashes and dots all around the gingerbread to make it look like the cracked and dimpled texture. But I am tempted to get a slightly lighter pencil and just tidy up my colouring first. So I'm actually going to grab a slightly lighter brown. This is the burnt ochre. And I'm just going to, I'm thinking if I go over the lighter areas, I might be able to just tidy it up a little bit. I don't know, it's not really making a big difference, is it? It's a bit lighter, I think, actually, is the problem. But anyway. There we go. I'm just going to leave that and get this this pencil. So what they have done, she has done, is all lines like this and circles. Because the biscuits don't have, biscuits aren't completely flat. We've got some circles drawn, so I'll use those to help me as well. And we're supposed to press quite hard. It doesn't say actually. I think to make it show up I'm going to have to. I'm hoping you can see that it's making a bit of a difference. I think I'm going to go under here because this is where this bit, he's got it in his hand, look. Sorry, Matchstick Mouse is a girl. So we'll try that and see if that sort of works. I'm not sure it's really dark enough. I think maybe our pen a little bit too dark. Anyway, we'll try that and see. Now it says to add a 3D look, take the sand pencil, this is my sand, and add a very hard stroke under each of the marks that you've made. So this is where the hard strokes come in. I'm trying to see, they're not showing up very well. It's really dark in here. It hasn't, it's because it's so early, it's still dark outside. But I just wanted to get on recording because everyone's having a snow day and they're settled on with getting on with all their things. I thought I would get on as well. I suspect this might show up a lot better if you actually use the correct marker, but that's fine. I used to have an art shop in town that sold the Copic markers. I could have grabbed one, but they're really expensive, aren't they? Just buying one is a bit, just for this, I think that would have been a bit extravagant. So I've done that, I've tried it. If it doesn't quite come off, then I can always add it again after. So now, take a eggshell, do a layer of eggshell in between all of the dimples to lighten the surface, but keep it away from the edges. Like that. So I'm going to go around those dots and dashes and leave them darker. I think that's the idea. And I'm hoping that this might help to start even out the pen so you can't see all those lines. Let's see how it comes out. It's getting very reflective, so I'm struggling to see it because of my light. But I seem to remember this made quite a big difference when I did it before. But I didn't. When I haven't followed this book using Prismas. I used polychromos. Now I actually wrote down the colours that I used for the for the hard dots. I used burnt umber, and then for the sand colour I used a Naples yellow, and then for this bit I actually used a Holbein pencil in a cream because I found the polychromos didn't show up enough. So that was interesting. I didn't find a polychromos alternative for this step. But you might be able to do it with this sort of cream or the ivory, but you might have to do a lot of layers to get it showing. I don't know. But as I say, I used my Holbein cream because I had a little set of 12 pastel Holbein pencils. And that worked. But actually, I didn't use the felt pen on the bottom layer. I haven't written down what I used though. I'm not sure. I'm sure I used a pencil base, not a pen. Anyway, so I rather like Jennifer Zimmermann's book, and I haven't got her first book. This is her second book. I didn't get it because it had a lot of people in it, and I wasn't really into colouring people. Now I'm thinking it would probably be really useful. I've actually popped it on my wish list to remind me that I want it, and I might grab it at some point. I've got my Christmas present is my colour cubes though, so it's not gone on to my Christmas list, but we'll see. Let's see what happens after Christmas. And there we go. So I'm just looking at him. He does look quite uneven still, but quite interesting at the same time. I'm wondering whether to do another layer or just to sort of even out. I'm actually tempted to go all over him and then redraw on those dark bits after, because it's looking a bit uneven where I've left the gaps. But maybe if you use the Copic pen, it probably would have been better. So I'm going to go back over those dark bits again now. And the next bit is the fun bit, so bear with me and we'll get there. Now I'm not sure what to do with this bit here. I'm thinking it would be paler, wouldn't it, where the where it hadn't baked, because the sweet was on top of it. So I think I'm going to go back over with the sand and make it a sort of paler bit like that. You can't see that very well. I can see it though, that there's a layer on there. Anyway, I just realised how squiffy you are. Right, now we have our icing bit to do. We actually use a Posca pen to get rid of all the white marks. That's our first instruction. Even those. So just going to do that first all the way through. Because if you think about it, if it's icing, there's no black marks on it. Now if you're, you could go over the whole thing in white, but I don't think it's necessary. I think the white paper is white enough. If you're doing this on the gingerbread man that you've printed out or on a cream book, then you may want to go over the whole thing. That black's still showing through, isn't it? Quite a bit, but I think this will probably do. And oh, we've got a bit on the other side, I mustn't forget. I also think the pen looks more like icing because of its sort of texture. Let me see, it just says, yeah, it just says erasing the black. It doesn't say going over the whole of it. So that's what I'm going to do, making sure I don't go over that bit because that's in his hand. Oops, a bit carried away. My icing skills aren't the best. Bit of pen there, isn't there? Never mind, and here. Gosh, that's a bit. Always the pencil, doesn't matter. Covering it over anyway. So we're nearly there. Our next step is actually we add a bit of colour onto the icing. We don't just leave it white. I thought this was quite an interesting step and not something that I would ever have thought of, but actually it seemed very effective when I tried it before. I don't know what I used though, pencil wise, because I might have written it down. What I did is I wrote in my book what I used when I did it before. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I used cold grey too in the Prismas, in the polys, but this is grey lavender. I didn't have anything that was an equivalent. And what you're supposed to do is to put a stroke on at the bottom of each bit of icing. It's really interesting. Here, how much is going to show up? I need to make sure it's on the paper and not on top of the Posca, I think. And it sort of adds a 3D look to everything. On the icing, just do it both sides, not sort of on that side as well, just a little bit. And on this one, now, yeah, there we go, there's his icing. Now we have the buttons. There is a bit for the candy details, as it's called. Now use a salad, YG05 salad coloured Copic, but she gives an alternative. I shouldn't have done the button because we're going to colour it. Hang on. I'm sorry. Let's just erase it. It's only very light. She gives an alternative and says you could do a layer of Prismacolor Spring Green instead. So we're going to do that. So here's my Prismacolor Spring Green. I may have messed it up by going over doing a different colour. Now actually it's quite a big layer, quite a deep colour like that. And this one, look, as well. My pencil is really blunt. I probably should have sharpened it. But I'm just going to go with it. There we go. So there's our base. Let me check. I'm just going to do it a little bit more. I'm too scared to go too dark in case I don't have any tooth left. Right. Okay. So the next step is to use the grass green, which is this dark green, to make a little shape at the bottom, a semicircle shape down here. Now we've got a marking already on here. And this one has got Posca down here, so I'm not sure, but I'm going to just try. There we go. And then actually takes it up a little bit, up and round just a tad. And then uses the white Posca. Hang on, no, the white. Where's my white? Is that my white? No. Hang on, bear with me. Don't know where my white is. Oh, here it is. Use the white pencil to create a highlight along the top edge. A little bit of white up there. You can't see it. Maybe it shows up better with you can do it in pen. It might show up better when you haven't got a pencil base. I don't know. It's a little white highlight on the top. And the tiniest bit at the bottom she adds here. is interesting. Got white there already, like that. And then she colours over the white with a light aqua, this, to create some cooler reflected light only on the very bottom edge. You just wait for this Posca to dry. Just a bit down there, that bit, and on this bit. And then she uses the peacock green. Do I have that? Should do. There it is. To define just this bottom bit here. A bit darker, but she says we've got quite a dark one there because there's a black line under it. You could use, she says you could refine the edges of each of your shapes with a black very thin. But there we go. So there he is. What I am going to do is the shadow underneath the icing for me isn't quite dark enough, so I'm just going to darken that even more, and I'm actually going to use the sepia pencil, which is this sort of very dark browny grey, just to put an extra shadow under here, because I think that it makes a difference in making that icing look three-dimensional, and the button, if you've got a bit more shadow. I'm going to put it both sides there. And under here. I also feel like my little dots to make the surface of the gingerbread man are still too light, so I'm going to go over them with this, and hopefully I will be happy once I've done that. It's just, I've done this before and it looked better, so I just know there's potential. I'm thinking this is definitely improving it. For me anyway. You might think it's being too fiddly. There we go, there he is. There is our gingerbread man. That's taken quite a while to do, so I think we may just leave the video there, and I might come back. I'm sure you'd like me to come back tomorrow and finish it, so I'll do that, and I'll be really daring and I'll finish it in my Prismas. I haven't coloured in this book at all with Prisma, so that's going to be a real challenge for me, but I will do that, and it'll be a bit quicker. I won't spend so long on each little item, but you know, following this little tutorial in the book, it's quite fun. I haven't really done it justice. Let me show you the finished picture in the book. It's supposed to look like that. Okay, so mine isn't quite like that, but still I had lots of fun, and that's the main thing. So yeah, so that's me for today. So thank you very much for watching, and as I say, pop back tomorrow and I'll finish it. So, but for now, happy colouring.